Hi, I'm Jess and I want to talk to you about something that's becoming increasingly important in the current climate, our fee protection service. You might have heard us mention it before, but if you haven't come across it yet, this is the service that covers the professional costs of dealing with an HMRC inquiry. Now you might be thinking, I do everything by the book, I'd be fine if I were investigated. But here's the reality. Even if you've done everything right, an inquiry can still happen. And when it does, you will more than likely need professional support. In the 2025 spring budget, the government announced a significant increase in funding to help HMRC close the so-called tax gap. Some of the key announcements included a recruitment drive. HMRC will be hiring around 5,000 new compliance officers and 1,800 additional debt management staff over the next 5 years. This expansion is expected to generate an extra $4.7 billion in tax revenue annually by the 29-30 tax year. There will also be tougher enforcement. The government is aiming for a 20% increase in prosecutions for serious tax fraud by 29-30. In addition to this, they're introducing a whistleblower reward scheme where informants will receive a share of any tax recovered. Finally, and this should be no surprise, but the rollout of Making Tax Digital is continuing. This will increase HMRC's access to real-time data and raise compliance expectations. So what does this mean for you? Quite simply, HMRC is scaling up, and their expectation is that these measures will pay off. That means more inquiries, more checks, and greater scrutiny, regardless of whether you've done anything wrong. Let me share a story with you. A few years ago, we had a client operating within the hospitality sector, running a perfectly legitimate business. They were reporting a 45% profit margin, and at the time, the industry average was around 50%. So arguably, their margin was in line with industry standards. However, that small difference was enough to catch HMRC's attention, and based on that alone, they opened a full inquiry. The inquiry went on for 3 years. Now, the client had done nothing wrong, but over that time, the cost of dealing with all of the information requests, meetings and correspondence of HMRC, well, it totaled £14,000. Thankfully, the client in question had fee protection in place, so both our time and the legal support they needed was fully covered. But this is just a perfect example of how even the most compliant taxpayers can find themselves under investigation, and how important it is to have the right protection when it happens. You don't need to do anything wrong to be investigated. In fact, we are seeing more and more targeted campaigns from HMRC focusing on entire sectors, types of income, or perceived risk areas. You can get caught in the net even if your affairs are in perfect order. And when that happens, you still need to prove that everything is correct. And that can be both costly and time consuming. That's where fee protection comes in. You get to work with us, the people who know your finances and business inside out, not just a stranger working off a checklist. Now, we're aware that some professional bodies and institutes offer free fee protection cover as part of their membership. But as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. In most cases, you'll be passed to the cheapest available representative, someone who doesn't know you or your circumstances and certainly isn't best placed to fight your corner. When it's your business or personal affairs under the spotlight, you want to know the right people are in your corner. We're now in the process of renewing our fee protection service. We firmly believe this service remains one of the most valuable forms of support we offer, especially given the increasing scrutiny from HMRC. As in previous years, we've continued to offer flexible payment options to make things easier. You can choose to spread the cost over 3 or 6 months via direct debit, helping you budget without missing out on essential protection. If you'd like to talk through how the fee protection service works or want to check exactly what's covered, we're always happy to help. We know that dealing with HMRC inquiries can be stressful, even when you've done everything right. Having the right protection in place gives you peace of mind, knowing you will have expert support from the team who really understand your business.